why you pull yourself back when things start working. Akashic reading. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Just take a breath, just to allow yourself to fully land here, because this reading is definitely feeling deeper than just guidance. This feels like a conversation that your soul has been waiting to have with you. So over the last few weeks, I've been seeing a very strong pattern moving through this community. Women who are deeply intuitive, deeply aware, and deeply gifted, yet still find themselves pulling back the moment things begin to expand. So the moment that visibility increases, or the moment momentum starts building in their life, their business, or the moment they begin to truly get seen, something inside suddenly feels overwhelming, exhausting, or they start to feel emotionally exposed, and instead of moving forward, they disappear. And maybe you have experienced this too. So maybe you start showing up consistently, you feel inspired, you feel motivated, and then things start moving, right? And suddenly you feel tired, you feel emotionally heavy, you feel disconnected, distracted, uncertain, or like you need to retreat from everything. And what is important to understand is this isn't laziness, right? It's not failure, and it's not because you're incapable of creating the life, the purpose, the vision, the visibility, or the prosperity that your soul desires. Very often there is a deep emotional or subconscious pattern beneath it, and that's exactly why I created this deck, the Akashic Soul Alchemy Oracle deck. Not simply to give surface level guidance, but to help us to understand deeper wounds, emotional imprints, trauma imprints, subconscious fears, and energetic patterns that are quietly influencing the way we live, the way we receive, the way we interact, the way we create, the way we love, and the way that we express ourselves. Because when a pattern remains unseen, it just repeats, right? It repeats in our visibility. It repeats in our relationships. It repeats in our business, in our ability to receive, in our nervous system, in our self-expression, and so on. And honestly, it's something that I have been moving through myself too. I've noticed how easy it can be show up when inspiration is flowing, but the moment things begin to expand, or the moment that visibility increases and deeper levels of being seen arrive, something inside can suddenly want to retreat, to hide, to pull back, to get distracted, or to become quiet again. And I know that so many spiritual women are experiencing this right now, which is why I felt so strongly called to create this reading, because I don't believe that this is simply inconsistency. I feel that there are deeper emotional and nervous system patterns beneath it, and that many of us were never taught to recognize them. So today we're going deeper. This is not a predictive reading, right? This is nothing surface level. This is a soul level emotional decoding. And together we're going to explore what emotional pattern is surfacing for you right now, what this pattern may be trying to protect you from, how it may be affecting your visibility, purpose, or expansion, what your soul wants you to understand, and what begins shifting this pattern. And as always, take with you what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust that you were guided here. There may be something that your soul is finally ready to see. If you already have the Akashic Soul Alchemy Oracle, you may even want to pull these cards alongside me and journal with the messages that arrive. That is one of the reasons I created the companion journal too, because awareness is so powerful. But the true transformation often happens through reflection and embodiment, and emotional honesty. So let's begin. Take another deep breath. Just allow your shoulders to soften. And let's see what your soul is ready to reveal today. Okay, so what pattern is surfacing right now? We have the Priestess Wound. And the Priestess Wound really talks about that fear of being fully seen, pulling back when visibility increases, feeling emotionally exposed when you're sharing your gifts, or hiding parts of yourself to feel safe. A lot of this is about the emotion that comes with the Priestess Wound, you know, that emotional safety, right? So the fear of judgment, criticism, rejection. So shrinking after moments of expansion. Everything with the Priestess Wound is about feeling emotionally safe, because in past lives, we would have had times and experiences where our gifts were misused, or people mistrusted us, or our power was suppressed. So when we start to become visible, we don't feel emotionally safe because of those experiences. And they are held in our nervous system. They're also held in our DNA as well. So it can feel safer to be invisible than visible. Our nervous system associates visibility with danger because that's what we have experienced in the past. We've experienced ancient persecution, or being silenced, or having our powers taken away from us. So we want to serve deeply, but we fear truly being seen. So this isn't just about visibility, it is about emotional safety. Okay, so what is this pattern trying to protect us from? We have heart wall blocks. So this is trying to protect us from emotional overwhelm, from hurt, criticism, disappointment, feeling too vulnerable, feeling too exposed, feeling emotional overwhelm, feeling emotionally unsafe. Rejection and abandonment also comes up with this. But a really big one is being misunderstood, right? Because a lot of people still don't understand the power of the priestess, and the powers that she has, the woundings that she has been through. So there's a lot of misunderstood energy around that. We also have pressure and expectations placed on us. And we feel responsible for everyone. We're very intuitive. You know, the priestess is very, very intuitive and very caring and very empathetic. So we feel responsibility for everyone. There is also a fear of opening up too much emotionally as well. So that brings us back to the emotional safety that we need. We also have a tendency to self-protect through emotional distance. So not allowing people fully in, right? And we place these heart wall blocks so that people can't connect to us too deeply. So they can't drain our energy. So they can't really understand who we are. And there are different ways of doing this than placing heart wall blocks. One is boundaries, for example. But what we've done is we've placed these heart wall blocks so that no one can really see who we are at our core, because it has been dangerous in the past, because we have been hurt, we've been exposed, we've been persecuted. So we place these heart wall blocks in front of us. And that is our way of protecting our energy, protecting our emotions, protecting our nervous system. And like I say, there are other ways of doing this. So we create these subconscious walls to stay safe. And sometimes the heart creates protection before the mind is even aware that it is happening, right? And this isn't sabotage, this is protection. And that's really, really important. We are protecting ourselves by placing these heart wall blocks up so that we cannot get emotionally hurt and so that we are protecting our nervous system. Okay, so card 3 is purpose and mission. So this is how it is affecting your life in the day to day. And this is where we really start to see inconsistency showing up. When we're inconsistent, we are not lazy, right? We are protecting ourselves from emotional overwhelm. We are protecting ourselves emotionally. So inconsistency, I think it's really, really important to understand that you are inconsistent because the deep pattern that you're holding is the Priestess Wound, which is all about safety, right? You may start strongly and then you disappear, right? You are aware of your purpose and mission, and you want to be fully out there. You want to help. You want to bring changes to the world. And you start off strongly, but the more and more you become visible, the more you start to hold back your energy, hold back your voice, hold back your gifts, because you no longer feel safe. Okay, and the heart wall blocks start to come into place. So with the Priestess Wound, really stepping into like long-term visibility can be really, really difficult, right? Fully stepping into that leadership. The priestess is here to be a leader. She is here to create a movement and lead others forwards, right? So you may be playing smaller than your soul desires, than your soul agreed to show up in this lifetime. I'm feeling called to more, but at the same time unable to sustain momentum and hesitating just before expansion. So you may feel exhausted after visibility. You may feel distracted. You may feel emotionally exposed, but you want to live your purpose, right? That is what your soul agreed to in this lifetime. But you fear what will come when you become fully visible. You fear that success and the attention and the expansion that it may bring you. So you may not actually fear your purpose, you fear what being fully seen within that purpose could awaken within you. Okay, so what does your soul want you to understand? And we have soul alignment. So there are a lot of things that we need to understand, especially when we're wanting to get visible, when we're wanting to live our purpose. And one of the things is that your sensitivity is not a weakness. Your soul is asking for gentleness, not force. You don't need to prove your worth. I think it's important to know, to understand that alignment comes through safety and truth. Your gifts were not meant to be hidden. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to be present. You're allowed to be visible, right? You're allowed to create the life, the mission, the dreams that you want to create. And you're allowed to take up that space in doing that, right? Your path doesn't need to look like everybody else's, right? You are unique. You are an individual. And it's up to you to forge your own path. Your soul knows what you are here to do, right? And when we become in alignment with that purpose, with that mission, what we have agreed to do in this lifetime, things become a lot easier, not through force, but by listening to what your soul is guiding you to, by being true to yourself. Another thing around soul alignment is that healing happens through awareness and integration. So it's not enough to uncover the pattern. Yes, that is the first step. But we do need to work through that. We do need to integrate the wisdom, the knowledge, whatever comes through for you. Your soul already knows your next step. it knows the path forwards, and you're being invited back into deeper self-trust in order to move forwards, in order to be able to stay visible, in order to be able to build that dream life, that dream business, right? Your soul is not trying to push you harder. It's trying to bring you back into alignment with yourself and what you agreed to do have be experienced in this lifetime. So soul alignment is really, really important when we are clearing these deeper patterns, right? These things need to be worked with. They need to be acknowledged, and they need to be integrated. Okay, really, really important. We need to work with the heart wall blocks, that are holding us back, right? Because we've put those barriers up, so it becomes very difficult for our clients to connect with us, because all they're seeing is the barrier, not your amazing energy, your amazing gifts, and all of those things. This wounding, the priestess wound, does need to be worked with, but you're not being pushed into doing this. Your soul is asking you to listen and embody and take the next steps, right? Integrate what you have learned. And interestingly, the next card is embodiment, right? And that is what starts to shift this pattern. And embodiment, again, isn't about forcing things to happen. It's about slowing down enough to hear yourself, to hear your soul speaking to you. It's about nervous system regulation, right? All of the past lives that we've had and experiences in this lifetime, of course, have an effect on our nervous system. So if our nervous system is in fight, flight, flee energy, then it's very different. It's like we're working against ourselves. So nervous system regulation is going to be really, really important in helping to clear this pattern, in helping you to become visible and stay visible without the fears, without the patterns, without the behaviors, because you have regulated your nervous system, right? Also, grounding into the body is really, really important. And feeling safe while being visible, right? All of these things are steps that will help us to move forwards. Feeling safe while being visible is a game changer, right? So if you fear going live, showing up in your business, showing your face in your business, not to say that faceless accounts and all those things don't work, but when we're working energetically, I feel it's so important that people can connect with us. They can see us. They can feel us. They can feel our energy, right? So being able to feel safe when being visible and showing up in your business is so, so important. And we need to embody that energy. So some work on that is going to be really, really important. Emotional honesty is also really, really important. So paying attention to your emotions as you are being visible, as you are showing up in your business, will help you to understand what is the trigger beneath what is holding you back, right? Reflection and journaling, so, so important, right? Especially when working with cards that go so deeply like these. It's not enough to just hear. Yes, awareness is a really, really important, but we need to journal on different things, which is why I created the Akashic Soul Alchemy journal to go with this deck, right? Because it gives you daily card pulls, it gives you reflection prompts, it gives you embodiment practices inside the journal, and it helps you to understand the emotional patterns that are showing up for you, right? Another thing with embodiment is we need to release perfectionism, right? And, you know, maybe if you are really, really struggling with showing up and being visible, take it one step at a time. Take it in smaller steps until you feel emotionally safer, right? And integrate the healing instead of chasing the healing, right? It's not enough to keep knowing what the healing is. We need to embody that healing, right? We need to integrate it. We need to allow it time to integrate. So transformation only happens when healing moves from the mind into the body, so that you can actually work with those energies, so that you can embody it, and so that you can integrate the things that need to be done in order to help move you forwards, in order to help you to become visible and stay visible in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in your money, in your receiving, you know, all of those different energies. So a bonus card has come up. So this is like a final message, and we have divine timing, right? So divine timing is really telling you that you're not behind, right? Your healing does have a purpose. And for many spiritual entrepreneurs, what we learn, what we heal is going to be a part of our teaching in the future. Your expansion is unfolding in layers. So it's not something that is going to unfold all in one go. It's going to be in layers. And that's because of our nervous system. That's because of emotional safety, and all of those things. If everything happened all at once, we would definitely go into emotional overwhelm, and our nervous system would definitely be in fight and flight energy, right? So the way that you are moving forwards through woundings like this, just know that there is wisdom in the pace that your soul is choosing, in the pace that it is choosing to uncover, to become aware, to take the next steps, right? That's really, really important. And divine timing is also telling you to stop measuring yourself against, you know, where others are, and stop giving yourself a hard time for not being exactly where you thought you would be at this time, right? Things happen in divine timing. Things happen at the timing for a reason, right? So allow divine timing to unfold, right? Because your nervous system can't be rushed into safety. We need to work with that safety. We need to feel that safety within our bodies before we can start to move forwards. Your soul is asking you to trust the timing, trust yourself, trust the messages that you are receiving, and stop trying to force yourself into doing things. You know, we said right at the start, you know, this is all about listening to your soul, quietening down, and slowing down so that you can actually hear your intuition, your soul speaking for you. To you. You're already becoming who you are meant to be. So you are already in the process of, you know, moving forwards. So your soul is not asking you to force your expansion. It's asking you to feel safe enough to remain visible within that. Okay, so before you go, I just want to remind you of something. If this reading resonated deeply, if you felt emotionally seen, if parts of you feel like they were describing something you've quietly been carrying for a long time, please know that you are not alone in this. So many spiritual aware women are moving through these deeper emotional and subconscious patterns right now. And this is exactly why I created the Akashic Soul Alchemy Oracle deck. Not just a deck for guidance, but as a tool for deeper self-awareness, emotional healing, soul remembrance, and understanding the hidden patterns beneath what you are experiencing. Because when we finally see the pattern clearly, we begin creating space to heal it. If you already have the deck, I'd love for you to pull these cards for yourself and just spend some time journaling with them afterwards. The companion journal was created to support exactly this kind of deeper reflection, embodiment, and integration work. So I genuinely love to know how this reading resonated with you today. So do let me know in the comments which card spoke to you, what emotional pattern are you beginning to recognize in yourself? And have you started experiencing this feeling of pulling back when things start working? I always read the comments, and I truly love hearing your experiences and reflections as well. And if this reading supported you, helped you feel seen, or brought clarity to something that you've been struggling to understand, please subscribe to the channel and join this space. Because this is becoming more than readings. This is becoming a deeper conversation around healing, remembrance, emotional awareness, reclaiming the parts of ourselves that have learned it was safer to hide. You can also explore the deck, the journal, and activations and other offerings below in the description. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your openness. And thank you for allowing yourself to be seen today. I will be uploading an activation on Thursday or Friday to help clear this pattern. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.